My mother auctioned off my home to settle my siblings' $200,000 obligation. Upon my return, they chuckled, declared, "Now you're without shelter." I merely grinned. "Hello, I'm Sophia Reynolds, 32, a property broker who orchestrates every detail except for this twist." That was the element they despised most, for composure signifies command. Because quietude implies I'm already several moves in advance. The reality, when the notifications began flooding in, I was 8,000 miles distant. Ivory bluffs, azure tiles, dawn cascading over Santorini like syrup on crystal. My initial getaway in 3 years. My initial error was assuming tranquility would linger for me. Mother's tone had rung cheerful, like positive tidings. "Darling, we took care of it. The residence is transferred." Because the dwelling they offloaded was never listed under my ownership. "From where are you observing? Share your location or region in the replies. I wish to discover how far tales like this spread." During our childhood, Mother maintained 2 items atop the refrigerator, a storm fund container and an unseen tally board. The container was designated for Isabella. The tally board was reserved for me. If she earned a C+, Mother applauded as if it were a wonder. If I achieved perfect grades, Mother remarked, "That's anticipated, Sophia." Father would affirm, as if exemplary conduct merited no fanfare. When I obtained my driving permit, I ferried Isabella to every destination. Exam coaching, manicure sessions, gatherings where I lingered in the vehicle, nursing inexpensive fizz while she danced beneath another person's festive illuminations. If I requested reimbursement for fuel, Father advised, "Put it toward your growth." If Isabella desired a fresh device, Mother declared, "She requires a sense of linkage." That's how it commenced. Minor favors of affection that evolved into transactions. Every achievement I acquired discreetly morphed into her rescue. Mother stated, "You're the elder. You grasp duty." But what she intended was, "You can endure exploitation." Even in maturity, the cycle persisted unchanged. If Isabella exceeded her budget, I was the rational figure to rectify it. If I declined, I was deemed aloof. If I paused, I was deemed unappreciative. Affection resembled an equation that refused equilibrium. One evening, following another fund's transfer, I gazed at my image and murmured, "Perhaps if I vanish, they'll at last master independence." They didn't. They mastered greater dependence. They labeled it kinship. I labeled it an agreement I never endorsed. I entered the property sector at 21. The sort of profession folks confuse with elegance, tour of vacant homes, gentle illumination, pastries arranged neatly. Yet beneath each key exchanged lies bureaucracy, anxiety, and dampness. I welcomed it. Order resonated. Pacts remained steadfast when individuals faltered. Most evenings, I'd perch in my automobile post-viewing. Partially consumed energy bar on the console, gazing at the radiance of abodes I'd never inhabit. Each pane appeared as serenity encased in transparency. That's what I craved. An anchor, something exclusively mine. By 30, I amassed sufficient for an initial investment. But rather than acquiring under my personal banner, I erected safeguards. A modest corporation, Azure Lock Enterprises, $300 for establishment. A barrier of documents shielding me from turmoil. I mastered deciphering legalese like others interpret expressions. Each provision, each timestamp, each identifier, a demarcation between liberty and remorse. Azure Lock rented an asset via primary contract. Pristine ownership, appropriate approvals, serene avenue. I covered initial fees, managed reservations, submitted returns, all the mundane tasks, all the secure routines. When the payments deposited monthly, serenity settled where dread once resided. It transcended mere shelter. It was validation that I could construct something impervious to seizure. Certain evenings, I'd remain at the workplace until late, organizing schedules by hue until my vision blurred. Messages buzzed, lines trilled, but I filtered them away. My existence organized tidily into directories, foreseeable, intentional, exclusive. Alternative evenings, I'd pace chamber to chamber, unshod, dim glow, hand pressed to chilled plaster, enumerating pains as others enumerate graces. The atmosphere carried sense of citrus polish and fresh starts. I'd murmur, "This belongs to me alone." Beyond, the patio fixtures murmured against the night. Small amber auras fastened to a cable, the district pulsed. A canine's yelp, a vehicle latch, quietude resumed. And briefly I trusted I'd evaded the clamor, but serenity endures briefly, when your relatives presume you owe them perpetually. Isabella's text shifted from icons to please, then ultimatums, then hush. The variety that precedes tempests. I commenced duplicating archives doubly, securing files, activating notifications on the ledger, not alarm, routine. Not suspicion. Readiness forged through trials. I convinced myself I was equipped for all scenarios. On Fridays, I'd patrol the grounds with a notepad, examining fasteners, inspecting pivots, capturing images of gauges for the records. I tagged images by timestamp and sequence, then duplicated the storage. If an issue arose, I identified the contact and timing. If a renter required aid, I responded prior to the follow-up chime. Credibility propagates beyond promotions. Reply 1 if you've severed monetary ties to preserve your serenity. Reply 2 if you're still amassing resolve for that moment. I ought to have foreseen it was merely a question of duration. I erected fortifications of legalese to remain protected, and they nonetheless located an entry. The dawn divided sharply into halves, prior to the summonses, post the summonses. My device roused, then persisted unrelentingly. 19 overlooked summonses from mother, 12 from father, 7 from Isabella, a glimpse from father, vital news regarding the dwelling, another from Isabella, at last equitable, collapse on my settee. The mug clinked against the dish. I picked up mother's line, no greeting, gasping nearly victorious. Darling, we managed it. The residence is conveyed. Quietude occupied the void amid us. Conveyed, I echoed, as if sampling a term for toxicity. You'll comprehend upon reviewing the figures. In the background, Isabella giggled. Metallic, indifferent, youthful. Avoid theatrics, soft, she interjected. Kinship precedes all. Kinship preceded when the fund overflowed. Kinship preceded when the invoice bore my imprint. How did you convey it? I inquired, lacking my endorsement. Mother sighed as if I'd overlooked the essence. It's your dwelling. All acknowledge that. All does not equate to the registry bureau. All does not equate to the management pact. Who acquired it? I queried. A prompt bidder, mother responded, streamlined. He addresses overdue levies. No overdue levies existed. That's the phrase they employ. I terminated the exchange. Reserved the earliest departure. Assembled belongings to the rhythm of my heartbeat. At the terminal, I revisited files once more, Azure Lock primary rental, and a documented right to acquire, registered proprietor. Azure Lock Enterprises LLC. Not me, never me. I messaged my legal aid, Jordan, header, declaration of deceit, prepare immediately, content, halt any entry efforts. The overnight arrival touched down in overcast dawn. I motored directly to the asset. A relocation van obstructed the access. Mother in Chapel Flats, palms on waist, guiding outsiders like a supervisor, father lingering, pockets laden with justifications. A fellow in a polo captured the shelf. He remained unaware of my identity. Isabella reclined at the entrance. Hoodie proclaiming favored. Greetings, wanderer, she grinned slyly. Harsh descent. I entered. The abode carried aromas of ammonia and moist plaster. They had ventilated panes not theirs to command. Parlor. Immediately I stated. My tone astonished even myself. Even, resolute. Decision already formed. We seated save father. He loomed as if appreciation was owed. The acquirer kept glancing at his screen. Mother composed her grin for courteous guests. We rendered a difficult choice, dear, but we rescued you. I placed my dossier, elevated the initial sheet, then subsequent. Imposed quietude like testimony amid us. This asset, I articulated, pertains to Azure Lock Enterprises, not Sophia Reynolds. Your transfer document is a scribble on scrap. The acquirer ceased browsing. Isabella dismissed the documents with an eye roll. Father drew breath like a tempest brewing. I maintained my poise. Composure signifies command. Quietude signifies I'm forward already at present. He didn't procure a residence. He procured litigation with documentation. I retained the dossier sealed for one additional inhalation. Permitted them to speak initially. Mother initiated with assurance. We preserved your standing, Sophia. We liberated you from the load. I unveiled the dossier. Sheet 1, primary rental. Sheet 2, documented entitlement. Sheet 3, declaration of claim. This constitutes Azure Lock's asset, I stated. Ownership pristine and not personally mine. Your transfer attempts to alienate what you lack. The acquirer peered downward, then upward. How do we reverse this? He posed. Swiftly, I replied, prior to tainting ownership. Summon your counsel, I appended, and verify your liability protection. Father interposed. Moderate your address toward your parent. 3 events transpired already, I noted. 1 declaration of deceit submitted. Demand to halt dispatched. 3 registry notified. Isabella derided the sheets. Heavens, you adore regulations. Regulations ensure structures remain structures, I noted. Mother's grin turned frosted. You're exaggerating, darling. We merely hastened for kinship. For Isabella, I amended, for her $214,000, quietude, then the acquirer uttered, I'll transmit the sum back, he declared. My counsel advises it. Excellent, I stated. Execute it presently, forward verification to this destination. I extended a contact slip across the surface. Father's timbre descended to grit, you thankless offspring, for what I queried. For covering delays and crises. For serving as the unobtrusive remedy, I addressed Isabella. Have you cleared your obligations yet? That's irrelevant to you. It turns relevant, I stated. When the assets trace to deception, recoveries can be reclaimed. You might seek representation. Her visage wavered, discernment emerging. I positioned a concluding packet on the surface. Preservation directive, I articulated. Retain archives, correspondence, ledgers. No erasures, no misplaced devices. Mother's timbre intensified. You wouldn't inflict this on relatives. I'm inflicting nothing, I stated. I'm rejecting what was inflicted upon me. I'm electing untainted territory. The acquirer exited, phoning. The relocators trailed. I rose. This marks the limit, I declared. No further ledgers bearing my imprint. No further endorsements forged in yours. No further crises financed by my reserves. Father gestured toward the exit. Depart if loyalty eludes you. Loyalty excludes pilfering, I stated. Loyalty includes endorsements that align. Isabella seized her ignition, enraged. Mother extended an embrace not destined for me. I withdrew, firm as a level. I'll respond to genuine crises, I stated. Illness, peril, solely that. Otherwise, document it. Dispatch via post. I advanced to the frame. The abode regained its essence. Subdued citrus illumination on the planks. I secured the portal they'd wedged ajar. I didn't force it. I compelled it to heed my implement. No accusations lodged. Not leniency, discretion. The transfer reverted. Registry marked the transfer. Alert transmissions waned. Entitlement invoked. Ownership refined. Submissions aligned. Repose at last materialized. Furnishings arrived gradually. One seat, one fixture, one vow. Nothing warranting future remorse. At twilight, filament fixtures wove amber through the grounds. Inhalation discovered room amid my frame. Pardon essays arrived from mother. No response. Fresh guidelines condensed to 3 phrases. Affection endures. Support ceases. Summoned solely for authentic perils. Father adopted professionalism. Figures, conditions, schedules. I replied as with any patron. Concurrently, Isabella reimagined as responsibility. A voucher pulverized on display. Advancement, perhaps. Limits didn't rigidify me. They illuminated me. They permitted verity to respire. On the planks certain evenings. Unshod souls against chilled timber. Brew steaming, abode murmuring softly. I recall the youth who conveyed all homeward. She examined pacts because vows repeatedly fractured. She discerned portals could respect the bearer. Transporting those who deem it affection, an alternate method to nurture exists. Disclose verity promptly. Retain your constructions. Settle your own dues foremost. Assist solely from surplus, never from vitality. If this narrative encountered you timely, linger. Engage like and follow for additional. In the replies, inscribe, I select serenity or yet refining it. Identity, Sophia Reynolds. 32, property dealings, structure over disarray. Relatives cherished, purse secured. Perils addressed, demands rebuffed. What they conveyed never pertained to them. What I safeguarded at last pertains to me. Serenity isn't inert, it's a limit with a fastener.